Hi Pisces, welcome to this space. I thought you should look at the sun through the lens of a spider web. I can feel that this is a really big reading for some reason. It feels big. This is actually the 4th time I recorded your reading. It's interesting in your quincunx time. The very first message that came was something about a prayer bridge. How prayer builds a bridge over troubled waters. This helps, right? And then there came something about a Venom river. And I want to read you these 2 cards. They seem to go together well. Much to our dismay, the venom is always lurking in the shadows in one form or another. Its presence may be found in our relationships, thoughts, speech, or environment. Thankfully, the cycle of purification and detoxification comes so naturally that it is built into our every exhale. Archetypal venom is rarely remedied as easily. However, it can come in impotent forms and in quantities that are deeply damaging to us and to the world. When this venom card appears, there is a harmful substance in the psychic realm that must be identified. Perhaps there are words that have a sting of poison about them, or relationships that are draining your reserves. Acknowledgement is the first step, change is the second. The remedy will reveal itself in time, and with it, forgiveness. When the Venom card is in the light, it represents self-realization through suffering, which would make sense for the lesson you've been learning via Scorpio too. Okay, I heard take advantage of that, right? I told you long ago when this all started, it's not a game, right? When the Venom card is dark, there's an unwillingness to find a solution or to forgive. And she suggests to go deeper with this card is A Poison Tree by William Blake. Now the beautiful thing is the venom is on the bottom and the river's on the top. So it's like the venom is sunk to the bottom. Do you know what I mean? Like the polluted part has sunk down because it's heavier, right? Although it bubbles to the surface now and again, right? For some of you, I heard it can be a lot of the time about a particular subject or person, right? So it says with the river, it says there is a reason so many ceremonies of change and rebirth take place in the river. It is forgiveness embodied in a physical form. The river washes away what is no longer necessary, smoothing over sharp edges and accepting all our mistakes and grievances. Once we step in, we are no longer in control. The river carries us farther down the stream of transformation that we plan to go. Its waters have a special gift for reflecting back to us a new and dreamlike vision. Once the tears have passed, we see ourselves as we haven't before, with a little more lightness, grace, and fluidity. Keep in mind, the you that stands within the river is the real you, full of deep emotion and potential, with nothing to hide, nothing to judge. May you drink in the sight of your true self. When this is light, in the light, it's about acceptance, grace, reflection, and forgiveness. I also see deep patience. When it's in the dark, it's a torment of emotions, flooding, and overwhelm. So remember, when you stuff things into the invisible place, in Libra season specifically, this is such a good lesson, is like communicating, really, and we've been talking about this for a while, so this is a good prep, right? Because you also have the card of shadow at the bottom, which is emphasizing that this is, which is light and shadow, and it is the river or the venom, right? So I see again, remember that you, whenever something goes in an invisible world and it's not dealt with, there can be beauty in that. I guess that's causing your own suffering, though, right? I mean, it could cause suffering of others as well. It depends. But usually the latter doesn't happen when the prior is not happening within. Pisces. The hawk and the horse want you to open up, right? Maybe this is about some of the suffering that you've had to endure. And when you go back to those places and connect with it, say emotionally, that you don't remember your sadness about it, but you remember the beauty of it. Where is it that you can do that more? Like celebrate the love of something, whether it's in your life or not. Because if you've been learning a lesson through Scorpio, and through this space you have been deeply, then this also means that you have to learn something about letting go. Right? There's no possession here. There's no way to magically make something the way that you want it to be. And of course, never needing to pretend who you are to get it. To get what you need. You know what I mean? And even, I see, if the intention is pure, what you want. I know, mad, sad, or like mad, happy. Where do mad and happy? I feel like you can do those two a little bit. Mad's harder. What's going on with Cancer in your chart? Do you know about that, or your moon? Maybe there's something you want to tap in here to find out whether it's like a light there's a light that's been wanting to shine. Do you know what I mean? But I guess this does take a lot of making things work together that generally would not. When you were 34, I also see something about 3 or 4 years ago. there was a toxic relationship then, right? Something toxic there. But what did you do with that toxicity? How did you work with that energy? Did you stuff it down to the bottom? Did you just push it down to the bottom? Like, did you just take the rocks in the pocket and throw them in the river? Or did you bury them with intention? Did you hold them and cry? What did you do with those rocks? Ooh. And I keep seeing somebody burying something. So what are you needing to let go of right now? Because whatever it is that is toxic, and this is the thing that irks you in a way that's, I feel like toxicity sometimes can come in very small bits for you, versus say like a wave. Do you know what I mean? So this is why you have to, I guess you have to cleanse yourself a little more regularly to ensure your own happy space, and to see, like, I heard a true reflection of what's going on there, so that feelings can actually be purified, not just expressed on the outside in a certain way, right? And on the inside it's like a scared mouse. Like a tigress on the outside, but a mouse on the inside. Do you know what I'm saying? And this has so much to do with your expression, like via your voice. You know, whether this is singing the song of happiness, or letting people know what's getting on your nerves, or, you know, and we've been talking about this for a while, the practicing of this. Now I know there was a mention of doing this and aligning yourself in this way, this kind of shadow work, like the card Venom says, it does not come easily, right? If there's venom, if something is venomous, then it is dangerous, right? You can hurt yourself, and it can hurt people, and it can hurt things, and that's not good, right? We want the river pure, and actually Scorpio rules the river Styx, right? There's so many things falling out of the trees. You know, it's almost like Pisces sometimes is like Ariel. Or you have to work through that story in a backwards way. Something about that. Which all goes back to the father, right? The father in The Little Mermaid was the one that didn't want her to go, right? Was trying to be like, don't, you know, giving good counsel here. How did your father give you advice? And I see, how does that relate to the other people in your life now? Like, do you use that advice a lot? Is it helpful? It could have been a grandfather too. It's a fatherly figure here. Is still very important. Yes. Is it sometimes you, like, I heard, pretend to kind of, well, I heard be somebody else, but this is like an emotional thing. I feel like for most of you, it could be what you say, but it's the water in your body. It's like, because everybody most people love the beach on a sunny day, on a sunny summer day, right? Everybody flocks to the beach. But when it's nighttime and there's a storm on the sea, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody can hang with that. And it's pretty, that means you're pretty friggin' intense, right? Your dark side is, think of the ocean at nighttime in the midst of a storm. And you're in the middle of the water. You know? This isn't jet skiing on the lake in the summer. Different story. Completely different story. So where, again, I see, where do those emotions go? You have to know where they go, Pisces. Please. Because if not, the love that you seek will never mirror you, because you won't feel like, well, you won't be able to work through those hard spots. And if you have been working through them, I need you to accept more of your ability to create light, and also know that, well, you're the one that controls the sea. Do you know what I'm saying? And happiness, I heard, can be giddy, like externally expressive, but I believe that something about true happiness having to do with like peace. It's more like a peace in the self, like a silence, right? And a couple signs talked about it this month, but power is a feeling, not an action, right? I want you to make sure that you're not taking work home with you. And I see, if you're retired, it's not about what used to be, it's about what you want to do now. If you're in an in-between space, same advice. Do you have a pearl necklace? That's also a ZZ Top song, right? They talk about that. Is it ZZ Top? It's a swanky song, but that's not the point of it. It's more about the moon, about that Cancerian energy, about this feeling space. Like, I heard a hoot. Oh, when is this? Just a second, woodpecker and the owl. Okay. Working on your wisdom, right? The bridge of prayer. This is very important. I heard somebody got mad at somebody, so somebody else got mad at them. And then in the end, there was spite. That's Venom, okay? You always want to try to end the story, again, with a positive, with as much as possible, with a positive openness to it, because if not, it makes a block. Do you know what I'm saying? Because then you have to deal with the beaver, and the beaver is, even if there's a beaver in the river with the venom, like, this is a hardcore stagnation, right? And so I want you to, I guess this is this reading is expressive also of something that you need to do a little bit more regularly with yourself, or be aware of this energy. Because it's not to say that, for instance, like, oh, you just suck up everybody around you and none of this venom is yours. That's BS, right? Even that perspective, I think, is a little bit, I mean, we're all connected, but, you know, no one's perfect. And most of the stuff we have, actually heard, most of the shit we have to feel is our own shit. Do you know what I mean? We gotta deal, it's like, and actually, I was talking to my homegirl today, I want to share this with you, about how, you know, sometimes that which causes pain, for instance, causes something to close. It can bring tears, it can bring sadness, bring up emotions, if you will, so that they come out. And sometimes it's easy for, again, to blame another person, right? Instead of for whatever it is. But in the end game, it's about, again, finding appreciation and love in that suffering, because maybe that experience needed to happen, for instance, for you to, for one to, again, release that emotion, or to have that connection, right? It's like when someone dies, like everyone gets together, or like whatever the scenario is, right? It can be, it's all purifying, but I guess it depends on the way that you look at it. So, there's a cat, right? Is there a cat in your life now? What's the last cat that was around? Cats kind of linger around. They can be sweet, but they can also be very manipulative, right? They're like shapeshifters, cats. Particularly house cats. They shapeshift a lot, right? They're a little, they never quite look at someone directly. Unlike a dog who looks directly in your eye, who is loyal, right? And unlimitedly loving. It's all forgiveness there, right, with the dog. Are you more of a dog person or a cat person? Now, since, especially if you've been here for a little while, I feel like what we're talking about here is also something that you've been working through, because we've been touching on the subject in different ways, and I appreciate you taking your time with whatever this healing is, right? Because again, goodness gracious, Venom, you want to conquer Saturn, let me take that back. You want to work through Saturn energy, you want to work through Pluto energy, Scorpio energy. This is intense stuff. Even Cancer, the moon, it's dark in there, right? And I do feel like you're at the edge of a threshold about something, and so I see, if there is a fork in the river, one of them is clear, one of them is venomous. It's like a choice. I see choose wisely. Choose wisely. If there are any choices to be made at this time, I feel like you really need to open up and talk about how you're feeling, what you're thinking, like, even if it's a hard conversation, not aggressive, of course, but just honest. Remember, if it's coming out of love, not fear, then, and there's no judgment, then you're at peace with yourself. You're at peace with the other person. It's just purely a conversation. Do you know what I mean? So what are you arguing with yourself about at this time? Maybe in relation to something that needs to change, or what the next step would be? Are you halting yourself because of any emotional space? Because of maybe what you don't know, or what you're afraid of? Because I see that you don't... what did I see? The purity of choice is always available to you, Pisces. But I guess you also need to know what your moral standings are. But this is something more to do with your own, like, self-improvement. And also maybe even studying yourself, perhaps in like a, I actually heard in a religious way, or some sort of moral ground that you stand upon. What is that to you? Do you know what I mean? What's again, like, because the venom is never, the reason why it's venomous and dangerous is because it is It doesn't recognize the light of life, right? It's only in the darkness, and we can't just have one. We're in Libra. The lesson of Libra. Who are your mentors right now, or who is it that helps you to see what you cannot see? I see thank them for their guidance wherever this comes from. You know, they come through dream time. I heard it's your grandparent, you know, ancestors, animals, whoever. Just thank them after, even if you don't understand the message. There's something about the love in there where it's like, okay, I know this is a lesson. I heard I'll remember this. You can always feel what's real. Do you know what I mean? I want you to feel confident, okay, about yourself. Want you to realize that your independent choice does connect to the whole, and that does make a big difference. And your love, especially when you're coming at it from an innocent way, right? Not a fearful way, a loving way, confident way. I heard again, peace in yourself. Then you have the capacity to be able to learn how to build, like, you have the ability to build your life how you please. Do you know what I mean? But you have to feel strong. On the inside. We talked about it 2 months ago. There's a relationship of the past that came up again. Maybe this is something to consider, like where you're at now with that, because even when it's a physical distance, you know, different mentality about it. Maybe use different words about it. I guess this is filtering out the bottom of the river. Do you know what I mean? Like the bottom of the pool. It's like you're cleaning the bottom of the pool. And that's good to do. Right? I heard that's the healthiest thing for you. Because then you attract your tribe. You know what I mean? Like, it's not aggressive or fearful or scary. It's like, and even if you were alone, you'd feel strong, right? And you'd be open to, well, exploring whatever that space is, wherever you are, with great enthusiasm. I guess you are still tough about something in your heart too, like an old memory. Something, it's like water. It's like, especially if you hold water weight too, that could be a part of that. Or your skin is very like moist. It's like you hold a lot of water, right? This is a lot of emotion in there, and it's coming to the surface. So, I guess watch your skin right now, because that will be expressive. You know, is it dry? Are your feelings too hot? Are you mad? Right? You feel clammy, it's all cold and wet, and, you know, that's what breeds bacteria. Like, is that, because you gotta remember, you're cleaning this out, so you want to know what you're working with. And please remember that feelings that you just, I don't know, don't put anywhere, don't talk about, like don't express in some way, and it needs to be verbal to yourself, I see, to God and others, then this can create great toxicity in you, Pisces, and I need you to be aware of that. You know, what is your, for instance, like your cleansing ritual? Saturn in a water sign. Whoa. You have to learn the crocodile before you can be the dolphin. Or be the mermaid. Do you know what I mean? Because really you are everything that lives in the ocean. That's a lot of things. You may even have more animals than Scorpio, actually. I didn't even think about that till now. Wow. We talked about this before. What are your, I heard, what are your 5 sea animals now? At this moment, what are they? And if you want to, you could just do 5 animals. What are they? Like, don't, meaning, if I say, what are your 5 sea animals, and you get stuck on, like, number 2 or number 3, it's like, we'll go to a different element. Do you know what I mean? 5 is enough to go all the way around. Interesting. Well, I love you, Pisces. I'm glad we recorded this for the 4th time. You know, and that was a lot of talking. If you think about it, it was averagely 30 minutes per session. So that was 60, that's 120 minutes. That was 2 hours of talking. Finally came to the point where the message feels correct to express. So just realize that there's a lot going, there's, you know, with you sometimes there's a lot going on, and especially, I guess, in ways of, well, I heard the deep crevices of your heart. Thank you for all your support. I do hope you enjoyed the sun through the trees. Yeah, I'll talk to you next time, Pisces. Take care, and good job. Peace.